Do you think moving house is even more stressful than childbirth? The process has been ranked right at the top of the most stressful life experiences, worse apparently than job interviews or even getting dental work done, and most surprisingly, even more harrowing than actually giving birth. A recent survey found relocating is just behind caring for an elderly or sick relative, which ranks second, and also the sad loss of a family member, which was voted right at the top. So do you agree with this? 0207 862 2222, that is the number. Let's start with you. You're always thinking of moving, Lorraine, but you don't.
I don't. No. I've been trying to move for the last 20 years.
What do you mean trying to move?
Well, when I go away from my house, I never miss it.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like Miss Havisham, my house. It's very eclectic, loads of stuff. Busy.
Yeah.
And so when I was in Emmerdale, I lived in a little place up there and often didn't get home at all. Did I miss it? No. Did I eckers like? So I don't understand why I can't just go, right. But it's the doing, it's the thought of it, it's the getting rid of the clothes, it's getting rid of this, it's getting rid of that. And there's so many memories there. And each room is full. It's like a little film set, you know. So for 20 years, it's been sat on me like, duh. And it is stressful. And it's stressful, and I'm not even doing it. If you get the drift.
Yeah, I do. It's so stressful, you can't bear to do it. I totally get it. Have you moved much, Anne?
I haven't moved for 29 years. That's when we moved into the so-called, if you like, family home. When you sort of we were onto our second child, and you think we need somewhere that, you know, please God, if there are more, we're going to stay. And we're now at the other end of the spectrum. The kids have all left home, and we're thinking about, should we stay, should we go? And then, a bit like you, Lorraine, talk about it, and then he goes in his office, I go in the kitchen, and then it doesn't get discussed again. But it's an interesting conversation about, you know, what's more stressful, because having done both the giving birth and the moving house, I do remember it well. And I've also helped my kids move into various homes. There is just no comparison. Giving birth by far was far more stressful because there was no control involved. You can have the greatest doctors in the world. I always say it's between, not wishing to get too spiritual on daytime telly, but it's between the doctors and the Almighty. It's up to them what happens.
Spiritual, I don't
yeah,
mind.
okay. So, you know, well, I'm a great believer that ultimately, you know, the big guy will decide how it is, and obviously with the intervention of amazing doctors and nurses in our health service. But ultimately, there are things that can't be fixed by money when it comes to health. Sometimes it's just arbitrary, just happens. You're just praying, please God, that everything should be fine when you have this baby. And the stress that goes with that was immense, whereas with moving house, it is a massive stress. I wouldn't underplay that. But the thing is that, OK, so the bookshelves all fell down or whatever, you can usually find somebody that can help you fix it. It might be a stress, but you can fix it. But with this, and I remember very clearly with my youngest, and I was 36 when I had my daughter, and the health service rather cruelly used to call you a geriatric mother.
Yes,
I don't
elderly
remember.
prima gravida.
Yeah, exactly.
Prima gravida.
Yeah, we had that at the Italian restaurant.
Expectant mother, remember that. Tell me, what about you, Daryl? What's the moving story with you?
Well, I'm now going to argue that moving house is harder than childbirth, and I've made a will, and I'm prepared to die today, because obviously I can only speak from my personal experience, which was not giving birth to a child. I sort of really enjoyed the thing. I mean, moving house is horrible. It is horrendous. You know, you were talking there about sort of fixing things and things going wrong, and who's sort of, you know, and actually, you know, how much control you have over the situation, which I thought was a really interesting way of looking at it. I felt like during the process of having Molly, my daughter, who I did not give birth to.
Oh, here she is. What a doll face.
That was us on holiday last week.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
We went on she's 6 months old.
Lucky thing.
We went on our first holiday last week.
Oh.
So you know, speaking of like stress and, you know, things potentially going wrong and being out of your control, it went brilliant. She was so good. Yeah. She was really lovely. She was calm.
Don't jinx it.
I know. But she enjoyed the flight and she slept well, and it was good. It's brilliant, fantastic. It was really great. You know, I sort of felt like during the process of childbirth, the bit before and perhaps the immediate aftermath, is you have so much help. Is, you know, sort of people kind of rally to you, don't they? The midwives, family, if you're fortunate enough, the health visitors, the doctors, and of course, with the exception of some stories where things fall around. I sort of felt like trying to move house, everybody's working against you. People are trying to get more money out of you. They're trying to drag the process out. The solicitor's not getting back to you. It's all the other, and the sort of pain and misery in that process.
Also, I think that's the thing, no help.
My last house move was, I must say, really stressful because it was following a horrible divorce and I hadn't wanted to get divorced. I thought I was happily married. So I thought that the house that we were in as a married couple with the two beautiful little daughters and everything was yes, they say, I know it's a bit of a schmaltzy thing, but you know, your forever home, I thought it was going to be. And boy, was I out of that forever home quickly. I was in that forever home for all of about 4.5 years or something. And the husband had scarpered, couldn't afford to stay in the house and had to sell the house. And that bit where you're thinking, gosh, none of this is what I want. You know, I don't want to be divorced. I don't want to be on my own. I don't want to sell my beautiful house. I don't want to have to uproot my 2 little girls. All of this I don't want. All of this is not what this isn't the one I ordered. I was hoping to live a completely different life and I'm suddenly leading, that I remember, that move. And also I was, my mum had died, my husband had gone, and I was just doing this move all by myself, but I wanted it to be not too jolting for the girls. Yeah. So I was trying to kind of smooth over this rather jagged, collection of horrible feelings. And I just remember that being just incredibly stressful, actually.
But even if your house move under those circumstances, which sound absolutely horrible, and how wonderful that you are where you are now.
Thank you.
But even if that house move had been seamless, every last little saucer had been wrapped up properly, because it was such an ugly situation that you hadn't wanted, it would have been so stressful. And it wasn't the move, was it? It was what it
represented. But the funny thing is, when you say, look where you are now, where am I now? Same house. Very happy there.
Right.
I haven't moved since.
Right.
That was the move. So that was 22 years, and it's a beautiful house, and I'm very happy. But just the process of the whole thing was just kind of in my one of those things that's in your mind rather than the actual house. I'm sure the day was fine actually. Nothing went wrong with it.
I can't believe that I get into such a state when I haven't got any of those things. All I do is I sit there. I don't have anyone to talk to or help or anything. So I go, I know I should do it. I know I should do it. I know I should do it. And I wake up in like 2 o'clock in the morning and think, right, tomorrow I'll... What?
Put it on the market.
Consolidate, curate, edit, get rid of all that.
I wake up in the morning and I think, I'll go and have a coffee.
When you say I should do it, why should you? You don't have to, do you? What if you don't want to?
Well, no, but I'm not getting any younger, and I do everything myself. So I do my garden, which at the moment is looking like a nightmare. Yeah. I get up on my roof and clear my gutterings. I mean, my neighbours... my neighbours...
Start climbing up a ladder.
That's stressful.
That's a terrible idea.
Listen, let's bring in Erica. Erica's in Bristol. Now, we said, is it more stressful, childbirth or moving? And Erica, like lots of people, actually... Gosh. Erica, you did both at the same time, for goodness sake.
No way.
Yeah, I did. How lovely to speak to you, Vanessa. And I agree with Angela and Lorraine. She looks beautiful. I just wanted to say that I moved on my own. My roof caved in and it landed in the baby's room, all brand new. It was like soot everywhere. And I gave birth at the beautiful maternity hospital, St Michael's Maternity Hospital, who actually cared for me really well. I gave birth in an hour and a half from labour going in to actually, giving birth, but he wasn't breathing. And but for the grace of God, Angela, thank you. Yes, but for the grace of God, we all rely on what happens. That was the most scariest moment of my life. Wow. So I think anything could happen in the house. A whole bloody tree could land on me, but for the grace of God, I'll be all right. But my baby was well, and he's 23 now, and he's 6
What an amazing call. And of course, it's true, is it? Loads of people move house while they're pregnant.
Yeah, they do. But also I think you're at that can-do life stage where you just think everything, the hormones are surging, you're there, you're literally ploughing the field and getting it
totally. Well, massive nesting instinct. It's really peculiar. And so you've got the two most stressful things on earth all happening at exactly the same time. Erica, what a great call, and so glad that baby has triumphed and is leading a great life. That's so nice.